Hey, welcome back to the Soul Pod. This is Stacy. Today I want to talk about, well, this spiritual emergence that's happening. It's been called so many things: the age of Aquarius, the shift, the great awakening. It seems like every culture's got a word for it, and every religion it seems even. The second coming, the Christians call it. Satya Yuga transition, I think, is the term in Hindi. There's every culture has got a word, every religion and every philosophy seems to have a phrase or a word to explain this moment that we're either entering into or we're already in. Do you feel it? I know you do because you're here. I feel it. Something's happening. It's hard to quantify. Have you noticed that? It's hard to go, oh well, this is a sign that this is why we know we're in the age of Aquarius, or this changing moment, or this great shift. But we feel it. We feel it nonetheless, even if we can't quite put our finger on all the signs and symptoms of what's happening. But there are definitely some signs and symptoms. There's an old prophecy, a story from the Lakota people. The Lakotas, they also are called the Tetons or Western Sioux. This is a prophecy that actually it has ripples through Native American culture, and it's about the white buffalo calf lady. And what happened with the prophecy is that she came to the people in a moment of, I believe it was hunger. It was a great, you know, times of peril and danger and challenge and strife. And she came to the people and she said that she would return at a time of great transition, of great change, and she would come back as a white buffalo calf. And this has been an oral tradition that's been handed down beyond, so far back that no one could really say how old this oral tradition is, other than it's before the written language for these tribes. And as I said, it has ripple effects through these other tribes because it's gotten around as an oral tradition among so many tribes. In fact, now that among Native American tribes, one of the most sacred symbols is a white buffalo calf. One of the most sacred symbols. So that's how old it is. Well, on June 4th of last year, 2024, a white buffalo calf was born in one of the most sacred lands of the Native Americans, which is Yellowstone, what we now call Yellowstone National Park. But those native lands, it was born there, this white buffalo calf, which appears to fulfill a prophecy. If you think of what the Native Americans have been through since white man arrived on these lovely shores that we call America, they they've been destroyed. These tribes have been destroyed. They've been reduced in ways that are horrific. Um, Not to dive too deeply into that, but I mean, if you're going to look at a time when things are at their worst and things have gone terribly and they need to shift, you couldn't pick a much better one than this. Things are pretty bleak for a tribe that is really a shadow of what it once was, and especially peoples that are a shadow of what they once were, and not by their own doing, but by circumstance. So, why do I dive into this? I dive into this because what a beautiful thought that a white buffalo calf has arrived, and this prophecy, perhaps this is a sign of this thing that's about to happen here with us, this spiritual awakening, this emergence, this shift, this wonderful moment where, you know, in terms of the human soul, there really isn't, it isn't really about time. If you look at the great journey of the tribes, yeah, it's been about time. But, from the position of the soul, it is a journey. And we're at this point in the journey where it feels like we all need to change. This isn't just about Native Americans. This is about all of us because we're all connected. We're all connected. We're all connected. We're right here. Every single one of us. Like the buffalo. Buffalo. there is no single unit really. A buffalo is a buffalo, but the single unit of the buffalo community is the herd, and we're all part of the herd. And we make this mistake of thinking that we're not part of the herd. Our culture has gotten us to the point now where we're told to be the individual, to strive for personal excellence, and all those good things, which is wonderful if you're trying to get ahead, in the system that we've built, which is one of essentially greed and hunger, and to a point where we never are quite satisfied. But when we have the connection between all of us, when we feel that, that's when we find our peace and we find our joy and we find our love and we find wonder and we find beauty. And the more and more we strive to be individuals, the more and more people report that they feel unhappy, they feel empty, they feel unfulfilled, they feel lonely. And antidepressants are prescribed at a higher rate than ever before in history. So we need to get back to something. And there's something that's happening now within this spiritual emergence that's happening. And maybe this white buffalo calf, I'm hopeful, is a sign of something greater that's happening and it's coming to us. Black Elk was an elder with the Aglala Lakota people, and very wise man. He said, peace is when we look at the world and see that things are connected. We are not separate from our environment. We are all one with it. We're all one. We're all connected. When we see how everything is connected, we find peace. When we look at how things are disconnected and we try to believe that we are an island unto ourselves, that's when things they get hard. There's a time we're entering now that it is a hard and challenging time, and where there is a trial going on for, dare I say, the soul of human, and where we're starting to understand that we are not an island unto ourselves, but we are really destined for something greater than that, and that is connection with one another, connection with the whole, with everyone. This beautiful connection among all people. Never before in my lifetime have I seen people living in a world more permissive to becoming who we truly are, to explore who we truly are, to be less judged for who we truly are, to be individuals, to be unique. But what is that worth if we feel alone? The way to not feel alone is to connect. Connect with the people in your life, to connect with people that you've never met, to treat each other with a bit of kindness. Is this video going to change the world? No, of course not. The world has changed one individual at a time. We can be the change we want to see in the world. And if we all did that, the change we want to see is something beautiful, isn't it? Go out and be the change you want to see in the world. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching my channel. Please leave messages to me, notes to each other in the show notes below. Have some ideas on how to connect better? Great. Let's do that. If you haven't checked out the Soul Podcast, check it out. We have fourth season's going to be starting soon. We're in January of 2025 now, and I'm working on a really great season, which should be launching off sometime in March. We'll be getting a lot of great content there. Longer examples or longer dives into ideas like this. And if you like it, share it with your friends. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you on the next video.